Candlesticks are more than just functional objects. They can be windows into history and craftsmanship. In the late 1980s or early 1990s, the guest acquired a pair of candlesticks at an auction, though the exact timing was unclear due to the years that had passed.
I bought them at an auction house in the 80s, maybe early 90s. It's been so long that I'm not quite sure.
They are characterized by the delicate flowering bush motif, or bocage, situated behind each piece. These candlesticks are believed to be the work of the Samson Company, a manufacturer renowned for producing highly detailed replicas of 18th century designs. Samson's reputation for quality made their pieces sought after by collectors. The craftsmanship of these candlesticks reflected the meticulous attention to detail typical of the company's work. Their historical design and fine quality contribute to their enduring value. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"Somewhere between $800 and $1,200.
The guest shared a touching story about receiving a remarkable piece of jewelry from a woman in her church. This woman, who had no family, was cared for by the guest family during her illness. As a gesture of gratitude, she insisted the guest accept the jewelry. The piece originally belonged to the William Becker family of Bolton Lake. The appraiser confirmed the jewelry is crafted from 18-karat yellow gold. At its center lies a stunning 8-carat peridot, which adds to its allure. Surrounding the peridot is an exquisite arrangement of mixed-color diamonds. These diamonds include hues of white, yellow, and champagne, enhancing its beauty.
They're diamonds, but they're not all white diamonds. They're mixed in color. You have some white, some yellow. You have some that are a little bit champagne.
The design features a unique movement that contributes to its elegance. The back of the piece showcases intricate canalite wire work, highlighting its craftsmanship. This detailed work is characteristic of the late 19th to early 20th century American design.
Very indicative of a few designers who were working in the late 1800s to the early 1900s in America.
The guest discovered a tag indicating it was made by Tiffany and Company in New York. The appraiser suggested it could be attributed to Louis Comfort Tiffany himself. He is known for his exceptional craftsmanship and innovative designs.
The type of construction and when something like this was made, and we kind of look at the hallmark and look at the design and everything.
Based on the hallmark and design, the appraiser dated the piece to around 1910. The estimated auction value of the jewelry is between $20,000 and $30,000.
I would say that this would auction for $20,000 to $30,000.
The guest was astonished by this valuation and considered keeping the gift for herself. Ultimately, the piece represents both history and a heartfelt connection. Watch fobs aren't just timepiece accessories. They can hold hidden treasures, both musical and financial. A guest brought a unique collection of 5 musical pocket watch fobs to an appraiser, each containing a mechanism that played a distinct tune. The fobs were collected over a span of 10 to 12 years, with the guest having paid between $900 and $4,000 for each piece.
This one was about $900 to $950. This was under $2,000, more like $1,900. This one was just at $2,000.
The appraiser admired their craftsmanship, noting that several were made of 18-karat gold, while the oldest and most intricate featured tricolor gold.
This one, you told me, was 9-karat rolled gold.
Yes.
Which actually means it's gold filled or has a layer of gold on the outside.
Okay.
This rare tricolor fob was especially challenging to produce due to its layered gold design and integrated music box. While examining the condition of the collection, the appraiser said,
So as a group, the estimate would be $28,000 to $38,000.
The guest was thrilled with the appraisal, especially considering that the collection could help offset their daughter's law school tuition. Both the rarity and the musical element made the collection particularly fascinating and valuable. Silver treasures from the past hold stories beyond their gleam. A guest shared a cherished horse sculpture inherited from her grandmother, who passed away in 1961, revealing that it was commissioned by their grandfather to represent his horse, Fargo. The guest, at 11 years old, had engraved Fargo's name in the wooden block and attached a small plaque, adding a personal touch. They explained that there were 2 sculptures, with this one featuring a saddle and chopped tail, while the other had a bareback with a normal tail.
This has the chopped tail. The other
Okay.
had the regular, normal tail
Okay.
that a horse would have.
Believing it to be from England, the appraiser confirmed its English origin and attributed it to John Willis Good.
I think it's more likely to be a reproduction of a sculpture by the English sculptor John Willis Good.
The sculpture was identified as sterling silver with intricate details, including hair, hooves, and a hallmarked bridle, dating it back to 1928. The guest, initially unsure if it was a silver plate, was pleased to learn of its sterling silver quality. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
At auction, I would estimate this probably to sell for around $6,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
clocks often carry stories of history, craftsmanship, and family legacy, and this French timepiece was no exception. A guest brought in a French clock, believed by their family to have been acquired at the 1840 Paris expedition, hoping to learn more about it. The guest thought it was made around the 1840s, but when the appraiser examined the clock, he said,
My family supposedly got at the Paris expedition from 1840.
Despite this correction, the appraiser was quick to praise the clock's craftsmanship, noting its intricate details and elegant design. One of the standout features was its rotating barometer positioned at the top, adding both charm and functionality to the piece. The appraiser admired the clock's quality, calling it an exceptional example of 19th century workmanship. The guest was pleasantly surprised by this unexpected valuation, delighted that the family heirloom had such significant value. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
I think any auctioneer would probably estimate it between $5,000 and $7,000.
Holy mackerel.
a family heirloom porcelain plate may hold royal connections, with a value as unique as its intricate design. The appraiser admired the guest porcelain plate, noting it was a rare and special plate, unlike anything he'd ever seen before.
Nice Worcester porcelain, but you've brought along a really very special piece, and the likes of which I've never seen before.
The guest explained it was made by Granger and Company during George Granger's time and had been passed down through the family. She recently discovered that George Granger was her great-great-grandfather. The plate, believed to be from around 1840, was said to be a part of a set made for Queen Victoria to gift to the Tsar, though this couldn't be confirmed. The porcelain featured Queen Victoria's arms and hand-painted royal palaces. The appraiser marveled at the unique 3D flowers attached to the plate, a detail he hadn't seen before. Despite its beauty, the guest admitted the piece wasn't insured, estimating its value.
Maybe £4,000?
Passed down through generations, these exquisite portraits may hold a hidden connection to one of America's most renowned artists. A guest presented two family portraits that have been passed down since the 1800s. The paintings show James Durack and his wife, Elizabeth Bradford.
This is my sixth great-grandfather, James Dara, and his wife, Elizabeth Bradford.
Elizabeth Bradford was the granddaughter of William Bradford, a colonial printer from Philadelphia. Family stories suggest these portraits were created by artist Charles Willson Peale. An appraisal in the 1920s couldn't confirm Peale as the artist due to lack of proof. The paintings were cleared and relined in the 1960s to preserve their condition.
So I think they were relined as a means of preserving them.
The appraiser praised their exceptional quality and their well-maintained condition.
I looked at them with a black light, and they're in remarkably good condition.
They feature detailed work in the hands, lace, and skin tones, showing great artistry.
Quality of the work is rather extraordinary. Hands are extremely hard to paint.
Charles Willson Peale was a renowned Philadelphia artist from the Revolutionary War era. Further research is needed to confirm the artist, but the portraits are still highly valuable. In the 1920s, the paintings were valued at about $7,000 within the family.
I want to say they were around $7,000. I think that's what one of my family members had paid for them within the family.
Today, their auction estimate is between $30,000 and $50,000. Rare, early doodles by underground comic legend Robert Crumb reveal an unexpected artistic collaboration and can fetch more than your expectations. The guest presented placemats with drawings by Robert Crumb, created in collaboration with Walter Lee. The guest mentioned that Crumb often doodled before meals, and Lee appreciated and kept the artwork.
He was doodling before the food came, and how it's been explained to me is that Walt liked it, and he's like, I'm going to keep that.
Robert Crumb is known as the godfather of the underground comic movement, famous for his unique cartoon style.
Robert Crumb is one of the most influential artists of the 20th century in the world of comics. He is the godfather of the underground comic movement.
The appraiser noted Crumb's transition from making greeting cards to controversial underground comics in San Francisco.
Making wholesome family cards, which is a significant change from his later career. In the late 60s, he moved out to San Francisco.
One placemat featured design sketches of radios and a frog being used as bait for a shark. The appraiser pointed out Crumb's recognizable big feet style and his rare signature on one placemat. These drawings date back to 1964 to 1965, just before Crumb published his famous comics. The single placemat with Crumb's signature alone was estimated at $5,000 to $8,000. The appraiser valued the group of placemats at $8,000 to $12,000.
We put an auction estimate of $8,000 to $12,000.
Whoa, wow.
An exquisite miniature silver cutlery set, blending Dutch craftsmanship with the allure of English silver, stands as a rare and complete treasure from a bygone era. The guest mentioned their mother, an antique collector, particularly of miniature silver from England.
My mother was an antique collector, in particular of miniature silver, and I believe this came from England.
The appraiser identified the box as made of shagreen, also known as shark skin, with silver mounts.
The case is made of shark skin, which is also known as shagreen. We have some wonderful silver mounts on the front here.
Silver mounts were present on the front, sides, and back, with hallmarks on the hinges. Initially thought to be English, the appraiser clarified it was likely Dutch. The hallmarks, including a city mark of 2 stars beneath a crown, pointed to Dutch origins. English silver was highly regarded, and some Dutch pieces imitated English styles. The set includes knives, forks, spoons, and miniature sauce ladles.
You can see it's fitted on the interior with knives, forks, spoons, also miniature sauce ladles.
Likely part of a dollhouse set. The intact nature of the set made it valuable, with all slots filled. The case showed some age-related splitting, but the set remained in good condition. The completeness and condition were key to its value. The appraiser placed a pre-sale estimate of $2,500 to $3,500 on the set.
Of about $2,500 to $3,500.
Okay.
Charming papier-mâché bulldog captured attention with its irresistible charm. This vintage piece, dating back to the 1880s or 1890s, has been in the family for 65 years, first residing in the owner's grandmother's flat in Fulham. The bulldog features wheels beneath its feet, crafted in France, making it a delightful plaything for children in its day. Despite some wear and tear, its appeal remains undeniable. The appraiser highlighted its unique character and noted that while its condition's not perfect, its overwhelming charm adds significant value. Bulldogs like this have been known to sell for between 800 and 1,500 pounds at auction.
I've seen them go for between 800 and 1,500 pounds.
The piece exemplifies the playful yet sophisticated craftsmanship of the late 19th century, making it a standout collectible. Its history, craftsmanship, and enduring character all contribute to its value, marking it as a rare and captivating antique. This bulldog's charm and legacy make it truly irresistible to both collectors and enthusiasts alike. SOE Captain George Donovan Jones escaped the Gestapo and earned one of World War II's rarest honors for his bravery. The guest presented a display of medals and half a pair of handcuffs belonging to Captain George Donovan Jones.
Well, this is my Uncle George, who very sadly we never met.
Jones, a courageous man, served in special operations during World War II.
We were beginning to build circuits and groups in France and other occupied countries to facilitate invasion when it came.
In September 1942, he was parachuted into France as a wireless operator. For 8 months, he helped build the circuit before being captured by the Vichy police in May of 1943. Despite being handed over to the Gestapo, Jones managed to escape, with his hands cuffed in front. Sympathizers helped cut one half of the handcuffs, and the cutter kept the other half as a souvenir. Jones received the Military Cross for his first mission after sending 145 messages to London.
Well, the first military cross was in the first mission behind enemy lines. He transmitted 145 messages to London.
On his second mission, he sent out 68 more messages, earning a Military Cross and Bar. The appraiser highlighted the rarity of this achievement, calling it almost unknown.
That in itself is incredibly rare. But to have an MC and Bar awarded to a member of SO.
This chair is a masterful representation of mid-century American design excellence. It had been a cherished fixture in the guest grandmother's apartment for generations, its comforting presence a steadfast constant in a lifetime of memories. Passed down through the years, this family heirloom held a deep sentimental value, its elegant lines and worn upholstery whispering stories of laughter, love, and countless gatherings. The chair's backstory is revealed on a modest tag attached to its rear, inscribed with the legendary names Eames and Zenith. Eames and Zenith, two iconic American brands, epitomized mid-century modern innovation. Charles and Ray Eames pioneered modern furniture and design, creating timeless pieces like the Eames lounge chair. Meanwhile, Zenith produced high-quality electronics, including legendary radios and televisions. Considering its condition, craftsmanship, and heritage, this rare 1950 to 1951 Eames Zenith chair is valued at approximately.
As far as value goes, it's probably worth about $1,500 to $2,000 in today's market.
A collaboration between these design and technology pioneers resulted in exceptional products blending style and functionality. The tag on the chair, bearing both names, signifies a rare and remarkable piece born from this historic partnership. Wrapped in threads of love and legacy, this quilt unfolds as a tapestry of timeless tales, stitched with precision and passion. Its fabrics, a mosaic of memories, weave together the stories of generations past. Today we unravel its history, thread by thread, to reveal the beauty, craftsmanship, and significance that make this quilt a treasured work of art. Amidst the quiet intimacy of his aunt's Shippensburg, Pennsylvania residence, the guest stumbled upon this quilt nestled in a closet and received her tender blessing to carry its legacy forward. This quilt boasts breathtaking beauty and intricate graphical details.
It's an extraordinarily beautiful quilt. It's extremely graphic.
The quilt's corners are elegantly finished with princess feather patterns, a remarkable and uncommon detail.
Very unusual that they also did the corners, the four corners of the quilt with the princess feather.
Traditionally, quilts were crafted by collective efforts of women in quilting gatherings or societies, utilizing large frames. This quilt features hearts quilted throughout its charming four-leaf clover-inspired design.
Very finely quilted, very tiny little diamonds all the way through it.
Despite its strikingly modern and graphic design, this quilt originates from the 1880s or the late 19th century. Although the quilt's expert craftsmanship aligns with the finest pieces of its era, the pattern boldly breaks from traditional designs.
The pattern itself is not typical for that time. You know, it's very unusual. I think it's probably an original pattern.
This masterpiece quilt's retail price range reflects its impeccable craftsmanship and rarity, estimated at
a retail value on this quilt between $3,500 and $4,500.
Pictured here is the Gast father, a World War II veteran and survivor of war.
This is our dad, George Long.
Why and when did he join the Navy?
1940.
Tragically, he lost his entire family in the war after enlisting in the Navy, leading him to join HMS Tenacity and later HMS Kelvin.
He joined HMS Tenacity on the Atlantic convoys,
yes,
and then later joined the HMS Kelvin.
HMS Kelvin was a Royal Navy destroyer that played a significant role in World War II. She was launched in 1939 and served in various theaters, including the Mediterranean and Normandy. The ship earned several battle honors for her service. HMS Kelvin had the honor of transporting Winston Churchill across the English Channel to Normandy, France, just days after the D-Day landings. Winston Churchill was a British politician, army officer, and writer who served as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1955. He's widely regarded as one of the greatest wartime leaders in history. Churchill wanted to see the progress of the Allied invasion firsthand and to meet with military leaders in the field. While on this trip, Churchill came across the guest father with his camera, and despite the informality, couldn't resist posing for a few photos.
We've got here is basically his photograph album. Here is Churchill catching him with his camera. Instead of looking away,
he took great pleasure in sharing the pictures he took of Winston Churchill, a memorable experience he'd love to relive.
It was a very proud moment for him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody gets to have Churchill pose for them.
Although he endured a traumatic experience during the war, the guest father remained a kind, humorous, and charming individual.
Oh yes, no, Dad spoke about it all the time. Anytime we had visitors, the photograph album came out.
Logbooks and medals may seem like ordinary items, but they hold the key to an extraordinary story of courage and survival. Flight Lieutenant William McTurk's remarkable story as a World War II pilot and prisoner of war is told through his family and his collection of medals. These include the 1939-45 Star, the Aircrew Europe Star, and others that highlight his service in Bomber Command. McTurk's life was saved by a parachute after being shot down during a mission to Leipzig in 1944, earning him membership in the prestigious Caterpillar Club. Captured by the Germans, he was sent to Stalag Luft III, the camp later made famous by The Great Escape, though McTurk often noted the inaccuracies of the film.
We watched the film, of course, and he spent the whole film saying, well, that wasn't right, and it didn't happen that way, and all the rest of it.
His wartime logbook, issued by the Red Cross, includes a drawing of the camp and even a tunnel from the escape attempt. McTurk's friendship with Alex Casey, one of the escape plan's forgers, adds another intriguing layer to his story.
Alex Casey.
Okay, so we don't really know Alex Casey, but he was one of the forgers in the camp.
The value of his medals, along with these personal items, carries immense historical and sentimental significance. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
You would probably be looking at somewhere in the region of £1,000.
Okay.
Maybe 1,500.
Autographs connect us to cherished moments and people we admire. A guest brought an autographed photo of the original Mercury astronauts to an appraisal show. The photo was signed by famous astronauts like Wally Schirra, Gus Grissom, Alan Shepard, and John Glenn.
So we have Wally Schirra, Gus Grissom, Alan Shepard, John Glenn, all those. They're a little faded, but my father knew these guys.
The guest father, a doctor, had examined the astronauts, which is how the family obtained the signed picture. The guest fondly recalled John Glenn doing dishes and Alan Shepard showing them Saturn's rings. The appraiser emphasized the value of the photo and paperwork. However, some signatures had faded due to sunlight, which slightly reduced its value. Space memorabilia is currently in high demand, especially after the moon landing anniversary. While examining the item's condition, the appraiser said,
I'm going to place an auction estimate on this at $3,000 to $5,000.
Wow.
Today's exhibit features a fascinating collection of sports artifacts from a legendary sports personality. While sorting through their late grandmother's attic, the guest and her family stumbled upon this remarkable collection, including a vintage Wisconsin-Iowa game program and a heartfelt letter.
And a letter. My grandmother was a big football fan, and she and my grandfather went to the 1939 Wisconsin game.
After attending the 1939 Wisconsin game, the guest grandparents brought back the program as a keepsake for their twin daughters, including the guest mother.
They brought the program and gave it to my mother and her sister. They were twins.
The guest mother wrote to Bert Connolly, while her twin sister corresponded with Nile Kinnick. Writing to Nile Kinnick proved the savvy choice, given his Heisman Trophy win later that year.
Who was written to for Iowa?
For Iowa, my Aunt Jean wrote Nile Kinnick.
Okay.
This charming photo shows the guest mother and her twin sister as young girls.
That's my Aunt Jean.
Okay.
She wrote the letter. And the one on my side is my mom,
okay.
Jane.
In the annals of American sports, few stories shine brighter than that of Nile Kinnick, the Iowa Hawkeyes' legendary football star. Born on July 9, 1918 in Adel, Iowa, Nile's life was a testament to courage, determination, and the indomitable human spirit. Notably, Nile Kinnick pursued law after his Heisman victory, demonstrating exceptional academic prowess.
He didn't go on to play professional football. He wanted no part of that. What did he do after he won the Heisman Trophy? He went to law school.
On June 2, 1943, during a World War II naval aviation training exercise, Nile's plane crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. He was just 24 years old.
Because of those circumstances, the most rare Heisman Trophy autograph out there. He was 24. He was a month short of becoming 25.
Due to his untimely passing, Nile Kinnick's Heisman Trophy autograph has become one of the most coveted and rare. Childlike wonder and reverence shine through the letter written by the guest mother's twin sister.
I didn't know that. I knew it was a Heisman Trophy winner, but I didn't know that.
I love the provenance. I love what the girls did and how they wrote.
With its condition taken into account, the program's auction price is expected to be.
It's taped along the spine. It's got some creasing. It's got some tearing. At auction, let's give it a $100 value.
Next is the 1955 Bowman card, with a condition rating of 2 out of 10, valued at.
Not a lot of value. I'd be remiss to say it fetch more than $100.
The most prized item in this collection is the Nile Kinnick letter, estimated to fetch.
This piece could sell for $15,000 to $20,000.
You're kidding.
An intriguing conversation unfolded around an antique piece with a fascinating story.
One is Bajolica, dated 1875, is it, or thereabouts?
This rare antique from around 1875 captivated attention with its intricate craftsmanship. Shaped like a kingfisher with a fish in its beak, the piece featured an unusual knob. This elegant design was scarce and seldom seen. Identified as Darcy pottery, the piece was delicate and finely crafted. One part had been broken, hinting at the fragility of its design. Upon closer inspection, a small letter H in the corner marked the date as 1869, adding historical depth to its charm. Despite the damage, the piece retained significant value, estimated between.
It's worth £4,000 to £6,000.
Oh, is it really? Oh, thank you.
A remarkable collection of vintage Billboard posters, known as 24 sheets, showcases the grandeur of cinematic advertising. Each poster comprises 12 distinct pieces, expertly crafted for movie theaters featuring outdoor billboard spaces. Together, they embody the nostalgic charm of classic films, evoking memories of a bygone era in cinematic advertising. One particular poster from the collection promotes the movie Two for the Road. Its bold imagery and vibrant colors make it a standout piece, capturing the attention of anyone who sees it. This collection developed into a cherished hobby for the guest, who admires the posters for their scale and artistic appeal.
Obviously, I don't have a big enough place to put them on the wall, but I just love the scale of them. And
space may limit their display, but the allure of these vintage pieces fuels an enduring passion for cinematic art. The collective value of the vintage Billboard poster collection is estimated at an impressive.
And it would sell for $4,000 to $5,000.
You're kidding. Wow.
An unassuming cupboard passed down through generations held a quiet history that stirred newfound curiosity. At first glance, it was a modest cupboard, but closer inspection revealed exquisite craftsmanship beneath its simplicity. With finely crafted mitered corners, the cupboard featured stunning oval panels set within a rectangular frame. The veneer was identified as satinwood, a costly and exotic material imported in the late 18th century. Despite its exquisite beauty, satinwood's delicate nature often led to rippling and chestnut-toned cracks over time.
So a man was using this almost in the knowledge that, with time, it would crinkle.
Framed by rosewood and ebony boxwood inlays, the delicate oval panels exuded a bold black and white elegance. Its bright yellow satinwood, dark woods, and intricate cross-banding would have dazzled the eye when new. Inside the cupboard revealed further elegance with its mahogany construction and 2 drawers dating back to the period of 1775 to 1795. These drawers featured beaded edges and original handles, while adjustable slides faced with mahogany added both utility and beauty. The cupboard's simplicity masked its extraordinary design and craftsmanship.
Is in fact an exceptional piece of furniture. So goodness knows this was made by an important maker.
Likely made by a renowned maker, possibly someone of the caliber of Ince and Mayhew, it was a truly remarkable piece. In today's market, such an item would command a price between...
You would have to give between £25,000 and £30,000. Well, I think she'll be rather startled. I hope she'll be pleased.
A striking salon suite, purchased just a year ago in Suffolk, became the focus of attention. While not an old family piece, the guests suspected it was French from the Art Nouveau period, and her instincts were on point. The suite was crafted from pearwood, a material commonly used in Art Nouveau design. Its organic forms, from the whiplash top rail to the flowing, contorted armrest, gave the impression of wood growing from the ground, while delicate carvings of trailing ivy added to the natural beauty. The foot of the suite followed this same organic inspiration.
And then these little details of trailing ivy.
This piece was likely influenced by the Nancy School of Art Nouveau in France, though the exact designer was unclear. If it were to be attributed to anyone, it would be in the style of Louis Majorelle, a renowned designer of the time. Though elegant, the carving lacked the finesse of Majorelle's hand, hinting it wasn't a true original. The elegant Regency stripe upholstery clashed with the early 1900s style, suggesting a need for restoration. Despite these minor imperfections, the suite still held a remarkable value, potentially fetching around...
If I was to go out and buy this today, I would expect to pay round about £2,500. So,
an extraordinary piece of woven art, known as macro gauze, captures attention with its intricate design and mixed media composition. Created by British artist Peter Collingwood, this weaving exemplifies innovation in textile artistry.
My wife and I, we found the name and a number on the bottom, so we looked into it a little more and found out that the guy is an artist who's done.
Its vibrant hues and intricate textures weave a captivating tapestry, transforming it into a mesmerizing focal point in any space. Collingwood's passion for weaving blossomed during his national service in Jordan, diverting him from a destined medical career.
So he gave up on being a doctor, came back to Britain. He studied with one of the leading weavers of that time, whose name was Ethel Murray.
He turned deck chairs into looms for crafting scarves, inspired by a Bedouin tent hanging. Acquired at an estate sale, this macro gauze was found alongside other fabric on a rolled tube. With curiosity, the guest researched the piece, discovering its impressive origins and the artist's noteworthy background. Collingwood emerged as a preeminent British weaver in the late 20th century, with his limited works becoming highly coveted at auction. At an auction, the true worth of this striking piece was revealed to be between...
Would you be happy to hear that at auction it would probably fetch between $5,000 and $8,000?
A duo of etchings by Australian-born artist Martin Lewis brilliantly showcases his exceptional printmaking prowess. Created in 1927, the first etching is titled Sunday Garden Inspection. Limited to just 30 impressions, this print is a highly sought-after rarity.
And here they were on the wall for sale, and I recognized the farmers over here, and I think he was good friends with Norman Rockwell.
In this piece, Lewis captures suburban life near New York, employing chiaroscuro for dramatic effect. Although some see a resemblance to Norman Rockwell and his family, there's no evidence to back it up. In the 1936 etching, Politics, men gather around a barn in rural Connecticut to talk about politics. During the challenging years of the Depression, Lewis found solace in Connecticut, escaping the rising cost of life in New York. This trial proof is among 11 unique versions, each adjusted slightly before the final 16 prints. Lewis's technical expertise is further illustrated through the use of chiaroscuro in this print. Each etching is signed in pencil by the artist and is presented in museum-quality mats, both in pristine condition. Together, the two etchings by Martin Lewis are valued at an estimated range of...
I would estimate an auction estimate at $8,000 to $12,000.
Oh, really? Okay.
A conversation unfolds around a remarkable mechanical musical instrument, a late 19th to early 20th century symphonium. Originally crafted for public spaces like railway stations and pubs, this symphonium is in stunning condition. It was passed down to the guest father by his great-uncle, a watch and clockmaker with a shop in Flay. Crafted by a renowned German maker, the symphonium dazzles with its endless melodies via interchangeable metal disc. Unlike cylinder boxes with limited tunes, this symphonium unlocked an endless musical library. Its intricate mechanism uses star wheels to pluck a comb, flawlessly transforming the disc indentations into melodies.
Quite a complicated mechanism, quite difficult to actually punch this on a machine in order to get the tune to play absolutely perfectly.
Today, such instruments are highly sought after, especially in Japan, with a strong market for mechanical musical instruments. In its current pristine condition, it holds a value of between...
And at auction, one in this condition would fetch between £4,000 and £6,000.
A captivating painting titled Old Trinity, New York Winter captures the essence of a beautiful winter scene in Manhattan. In it, people huddle along the snow-covered streets, a hallmark of the talented artist Guy Wiggins.
He eventually settled in Old Lyme, Connecticut. He was part of the Old Lyme, Connecticut Artist Colony, and that's really where Guy Wiggins grew up.
Famed for his winter scenes in New York, Wiggins followed in the artistic footsteps of his father, Carleton, a pastoral landscape painter. This particular piece holds a special significance, inherited from a father who had a passion for art and an extensive collection. Upon discovering the painting in a Houston gallery, he felt a connection and brought it home as a cherished centerpiece.
He saw this painting in Houston in a gallery one time, and it was something that caught his eye, and he knew he had to have it. And
the painting still retains its original gallery label, which elegantly details the artist, title, inventory number, and dimensions. Notably, it also reveals the price of $2,500, a significant sum for art during the late 1950s or early 1960s.
And the price, $2,500.
Right.
Over the years, interest in Wiggins' work has surged, particularly in the realm of 19th and 20th century American art. Today, this painting would likely fetch between...
We would probably estimate it at $50,000 to $80,000.
This pair of sneakers from the 1997 All-Star Weekend, signed twice by Michael Jordan, holds a fascinating story. Eric Martin, a Pro Bowl wide receiver and Hall of Famer with the Saints, received these sneakers as a gift from Michael Jordan. After Martin gave the sneakers to Dr. Tommy Karam, he transferred them as a gift to an LSU graduate. Provenance and dual signatures play a crucial role in determining the value of these sneakers. One of the all-time basketball greats, Jordan revolutionized both the game and the sneaker industry. In 1984, when Nike was lagging in the basketball footwear market, it accomplished a significant deal with Jordan's family.
When he was drafted by the Bulls in '84, he could have signed with Adidas, because Adidas and Converse, those were the two big manufacturers of basketball shoes, and Nike was a distant third.
With Nike's offer of a share from each sale, Air Jordan sneakers earned a staggering $126 million during their first year of release. Despite the unclear purpose of the sneakers, they are expected to achieve a price between...
So an auction estimate on these, $10,000 to $15,000.
A stunning necklace from Marcus & Company features cabochon emeralds, tiny pearls, and shimmering diamonds. Larger pearls lend an air of elegance, completing this exquisite design. The necklace's history traces back to Herman Marcus, who started his career in Dresden before moving to New York in 1850. He refined his skills at Tiffany & Company before partnering with T.B. Starr and founding Marcus & Company in 1892. This particular piece, created between 1905 and 1910, stands out as an early gem in Marcus's oeuvre. These stunning Colombian emerald beads and lustrous natural pearls exemplify the exceptional craftsmanship of a bygone era.
You find very, very few pieces, whether it be Cartier or Marcus, from this period.
Such early creations are rare, especially compared to Marcus's later renowned Art Nouveau pieces. It's a remarkable heirloom with a retail value of approximately.
You could easily expect to pay around $120,000 for this necklace.
Wow.
It's one of the best examples I've seen of his work.
The Egyptian Theater in Boise, built in 1927 and restored in 1999, symbolizes the fascination with ancient Egypt in the late 19th and early 20th century art and design. This fascination was fueled by events like the construction of the Suez Canal and the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. Designers incorporated Egyptian motifs into their work, as seen in a 14-karat gold watch fob from the 1880s to 1890s, featuring carved ammonite and pharaonic heads.
And the top part of it is composed of two pharaonic heads, which is a very typical symbol that you will find in Egyptian motifs. This is probably about 1880, 1890s.
Another notable piece, a brooch and earring set retailed by Tiffany and Company around 1890, made of black limestone.
This piece was retailed by Tiffany and Company. It's in the original box. It's made out of carved black limestone, and this would date about 1890.
A late 1920s Art Deco brooch featuring diamonds, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and the Egyptian goddess Nekhbet.
The brooch is made of platinum. It's set throughout with diamonds, and it's highlighted by calibre-cut emeralds, rubies, and sapphires, and the central motif is that of Nekhbet.
These pieces highlight the enduring appeal of Egyptian revival jewelry, combining intricate craftsmanship with ancient symbolism. They showcase the rich cultural influence of Egypt on Western art and fashion during this period. 20th century designs have transformed everyday household objects into collectible works of functional art. A conversation between a host and appraiser highlights a collection of 20th century industrial design pieces that turn everyday household items into functional art. The discussion begins with a 1946 silver streak iron, crafted from Pyrex glass and chrome cast iron, which has become a collectible.
This is a 1946 silver streak iron, made of Pyrex glass and chrome cast iron.
Next is a 1935 punch bowl by Russell Wright, designed with a combination of aluminum and walnut. Its Saturn-like rings hold cups, making the piece both striking and practical.
It kind of looks like the sun and the planets revolving around it.
Right, and it also looks like Saturn with its ring.
The conversation shifts to a 1930s radio by Norman Bell Geddes, made from Catalan plastic in various colors, where multicolored versions can command prices as high as $6,000. The final item is a porcelain teapot by Paul Skregengost with chrome accents, featuring a sleek, aerodynamic design. The host reflects on the growing interest in these pieces as collectibles, appealing to a new generation of collectors. These objects blend form, function, and art, emerging as significant works of design. Discover how a family heirloom connects to a legendary French artist and the remarkable value it holds today. The guests present a significant work by Joseph Bernard, born in 1866 near Lyon.
We do have a lovely signature here, J. Bernard, Joseph Bernard.
The sculpture, titled One Filet à la Cache, or Young Girl with a Jug, showcases classical influences transitioning toward Art Deco. Bernard is recognized as a pivotal figure in the Art Deco movement, often referred to as its father. An academic once stated that without Bernard's sculptures, the piece is crafted using the lost wax casting technique, a method directly executed by Bernard. In terms of value, a similar piece sold at auction in Paris last year. While initially estimated between £15,000 to £20,000, it unexpectedly fetched £40,000.
And it was estimated at 15 to 20,000.
No.
This substantial figure brings joy to the family, as the sculpture is a cherished family heirloom. The guest expresses their admiration for the piece, reinforcing its emotional significance. An early, truly distinctive work by renowned Scottish painter Jack Vettriano, OBE, is revealed on the show. The guest shares that she inherited this remarkable masterpiece from her parent.
So I inherited it from my parents. It's been in the family since the mid-80s.
This portrait bears Vettriano's signature in the bottom right corner, marking it as an authentic creation by the celebrated artist. Born Jack Hagen on November 17th of 1951, Vettriano later adopted his mother's maiden name to establish a unique artistic identity. He taught himself to paint, honing his skills through practice and experimentation, often inspired by the works of old masters and his experiences in the Scottish landscape.
Quite an important thing because it really shows how he learnt his craft. He didn't go to art school, he literally taught himself.
In addition to his name change, his works often feature moody atmospheres, capturing scenes of romance and mystery. Vetriano gained widespread fame with The Singing Butler from 1992, which became one of Britain's best-selling images. Furthermore, this particular painting showcases Vetriano's signature style, blending evocative narratives with a distinctive visual aesthetic.
And today, Vetriano probably is one of Scotland's most famous living artists.
His ability to evoke emotion and tell stories through his art has garnered him a dedicated following. If this rare masterpiece were placed in an auction, reflecting its connection to Vetriano's legacy and the artist's enduring influence on contemporary art, its value would be a considerable price of...
We'd put an estimate in the region of £1,500 to £2,000.
Oh, all right, okay.
Imagine wearing a piece of the future, a wearable work of art that electrified the fashion world during the turbulent 1960s. This is a Paco Rabanne aluminum dress.
The space race was sort of propelling fashion, and they were looking for different fabrics and textiles and metals to incorporate into the clothing design.
Created by the Spanish-born naturalized French designer Francisco Rabanne Cuervo, the guest inherited this dress from her mother-in-law, who acquired it in the 1960s. Although a bit revealing, her mother-in-law wore it over a leather dress for modesty.
People wore this without a leather dress underneath.
This iconic dress features aluminum squares linked by chains, making it light enough to wear. Some of the squares have round decorative dots on the shoulders, running down to the hips.
And all the way down again, they repeat the pattern up and down over the shoulders. And as you can see the mannequin right through it, it could be quite revealing.
Unlike a typical fabric dress with a zipper at the back, this one uses large hooks as closures. These closures resemble jewelry or necklace clasp, perfectly complementing the design. Aside from its fashion-forward style, the dress is designed to be comfortable.
If I could find one of these, I'd be so happy.
In perfect condition, with no damage, this Paco Rabanne aluminum dress would be worth
of $12,000 to $15,000.
Okay.
And it's just fabulous.
Wow, wow, it is fabulous. I wish it fit me.
This ring had been in their family for generations and was willed to them by their aunt. The diamond and synthetic sapphire ring, circa 1925, exemplifies Art Deco jewelry. This ring exemplifies Art Deco's bold patterns, symmetry, and luxury. Synthetic sapphires, like this one, gained popularity in the early 20th century. Auguste Verneuil's flame fusion created synthetic sapphires with properties like natural ones.
But it's synthetic, which means it has the same chemical and physical and optical properties of a natural stone, but is man-made.
These synthetic stones became affordable, letting jewelers use large, vibrant gems without high cost. The diamonds are likely set in platinum, valued in the Art Deco period for its strength and sleekness. The deep blue synthetic sapphire appealed to 1920s consumers' love for bold colors. With its vibrant hues and timeless design, the appraiser valued the item.
And the ring is worth about $4,000 to $5,000.
Oh my!
Does that surprise you?
Well, I thought it was worth something, and I keep it mostly in the safety deposit box.
While helping her father move, she noticed some items on his shelf and asked about them. These items likely represent the Atacapa Ishak people's artistry from Louisiana and Texas.
The Atacapa, before colonialism, their territory was from the Gulf of Mexico, which is Texas, to southeast Louisiana.
The Atacapa people wove intricate baskets, mats, and other items from natural materials. Atacapa baskets and mats were made from long-leaf pine needles, cane, and natural fibers. There's also a letter from Mary E. McIlhenny. Baskets of Red Cane by Mary E. McIlhenny describes Atacapa craftsmanship from Louisiana in 1884. The designs featured geometric patterns that reflected the tribe's cultural symbols and connection to nature. Skilled artisans intricately selected, softened, dyed, and hand-wove materials into various shapes. The century-long durability of these items highlights the weaver's expertise with local resources. Rich in history and craftsmanship, the appraiser valued the item.
So you're looking at $8,000 to $10,000 worth of baskets.
Two remarkable albums containing Disney animation artwork from the 1939 era were presented for appraisal. Within their pages, a treasure trove of Disney history unfolded, showcasing the guest's work as an inker.
You work at the Disney Studios?
Several years. I worked on Pinocchio and Fantasia and Bambi, and later on I worked in Sleeping Beauty.
The first album boasted an impressive collection of actual animation cells from beloved films like Pinocchio and Fantasia. Meticulously crafted, each cell revealed the intricate process of hand-drawn animation.
He now uses computers, so they no longer have people to hand ink and paint them. So that makes them and yourself and your career that much more special.
Practice tests and experimental sketches were also included, offering a glimpse into the guest's creative process. A stunning animation drawing from Snow White took center stage in the second album, which beautifully exemplified the guest's skill and attention to detail. Trimming had affected the value of some cells and drawings, but the album's overall significance remained intact. As a window into Disney's golden era, these albums are an invaluable resource for animation enthusiasts. Both of the albums got appraised at.
Can you add up the whole collection of animation cells and the drawings? The whole collection itself is worth about $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, that sounds good.
The guest presented a collection of books from the personal collection of Connecticut State heroine Prudence Crandall, each inspired by her. One of the books features the inscription of the Prudence Crandall School. The appraiser noted that Crandall, born in 1803, was an educated individual who established a boarding school for young women in Connecticut, initially catering to mostly wealthy white students.
The town was not pleased. The parents of the white students took them out of school.
She welcomed a black student named Sarah Harris in 1831, which led to significant backlash from the community. In response, Crandall pivoted to exclusively educate black female students.
And she decided to put an ad in a newspaper called The Liberator that was edited by Garrison,
drawing the attention from prominent figures like William Lloyd Garrison. She placed an advertisement in Garrison's newspaper. The guest had acquired the books for between $500 and $800 each.
May I ask what you paid for the books?
I paid between $500 and $800 per book.
The appraiser advised keeping the books together as a group, estimating their auction value at approximately $1,000 to $2,000 for the entire collection. Hidden treasures from a forgotten chapel reveal a rich history in rural Lancashire. 7 miles outside Blackburn, in the quiet hamlet of Crossedge, there's an old Methodist chapel with beautiful views of the Lancashire countryside. Built in 1836 and slightly updated in 1903, the chapel has been untouched since it closed in the 1980s. Now, retired farmer John Horman, who owns the land, is selling the chapel and everything inside. Drew Pritchard, an expert in old and valuable items, visits the chapel and quickly spots several interesting pieces. One of them is a wooden sign from 1850 that says, "The wages of sin is death." This type of sign was common in Methodist chapels to remind people about the dangers of sin, and it could sell for around £500. Drew loves it so much that he plans to keep it for himself. He also finds a set of long-handled donation boxes made from mahogany in the 19th century. These boxes, once used during church services, could be worth around £450.
Once polished up, their simple, elegant forms would make highly desirable and useful household objects. They could be worth around £450.
Drew offers £150 for the set without a second thought. Next, he looks at 26 benches, probably from the late 19th century, made of pitch pine with cast iron frames. These benches, with their old, worn look, could sell for about £4,550. After some bargaining, Drew agrees to pay £50 per bench. Drew is also interested in some matte opaline pendant lamps and rare cast iron music stands shaped like lyres, which likely date back to the chapel's early days. He offers £50 each for the lamps and £300 for the 3 lyre stands.
Each for these ones. And the ones downstairs, if they're not cracked, I'll give you a tenner a piece.
I'm not going to argue.
Are you happy with that?
The day is both fun and successful for Drew, as he finds several valuable and historic items, especially the chapel sign, which he plans to proudly display at home. A worn edition of King Lear uncovers a surprising treasure worth thousands. The guest presented a book from their grandfather's eclectic collection.
And now, from a ring to a king. When rare books expert Devin Eastland discovered a tattered old copy of Shakespeare's King Lear,
highlighting an edition of Shakespeare's King Lear. The appraiser identified it as the 3rd quarto edition, printed by Jane Bell in 1655. They explained that quarto refers to the way the paper is folded. Despite its poor condition and Jane Bell's questionable printing rights, the appraiser noted its rarity, with only 10 copies in the U.S. and 7 in England. Surprising the guest, they estimated the book's auction value
into like, 20,000. We're doing $2,000 increments, so it's 20, 22,000.
At that point, I started rooting for it.
24,000, 26.
Come on, you can make 20.